with us from the Board of Selectmen also. This is overwhelming, the turnout this morning, more than anticipated and fantastic to see. We have basically a two-part presentation here this morning, and it's very significant that we do something about exactly at 11 o'clock. Today, as we all know, is Veterans Day and also the rededication of our Cupola and bell tower. I'd like to welcome all the guests here, all the dignitaries, Senator Wetmore, Senator Brewer, fellow board members in town, and the townspeople. The townspeople is what made the bell tower and cupola possible, as we all know, through their generous support. It's a dual purpose today. We are going to rededicate, as I said, the restored cupola and bell tower, and also at the same time, it's quite fitting that we somewhat waited. We didn't know when to do this, and it turned out that we picked on November 11th, and it's most significant because we have in our presence today Mr. William King, who is to our knowledge, our last World War veteran here in town, and so we're going to honor Mr. King this morning also. And we will do this in kind of a two-part ceremony. The first thing I'd like to say is that in a couple of minutes we would like to ring the bell, if we can do it 11 times for the 11th day of the 11th month, as it was done 75 years ago when the armistice was signed, ending World War I. In 1919, Woodrow Wilson dedicated the day as Day of Mourning for all those who fell in that war. And then in 1954, it was changed to Veterans Day to commemorate all the people from all the wars that served in the United States Armed Forces. At this moment, I'd like to have a moment of remembrance for all our veterans from prior wars. At this time, we can have Mr. King come up and do the honors, please, of assisting myself holding the ribbon and you cutting the ribbon, please, for the ringing of our restoration bell and tower. 30 seconds. Okay. Well, Mr. King, if you could hold the scissors there and cut the ribbon. Right between my hands. Right now? Right now. Now's a good time. All right. And that 30 seconds must be chiming down about this time. So I'll ask Bill from the Restoration Committee here, Bill Franchmore, Administrative Assistant, who's been practicing somewhat. And in the absence of Will Early, who's out on business out of town today, Bill will try to get this to go 11 times at this moment. Later on, we'll have a general bell ringing after the ceremony is over. Go. Go. It's not easy. We got to wind it up. Hey! Again, we thank everybody for coming today, especially the townspeople who are at home, who have contributed to the funding of the restoration of the bell tower in Cupola. 5 years or so being on the Board of Selectmen. It's been a long project, talked about five and a half years ago, funded several years ago, and finally come to conclusion this year. And so we're proud to have started the outside restoration of the building. And through the survey that was done by the committee on the restoration of the town hall, I think the feeling of the townspeople is that they would like to have this building retained as a historical site in town and not to ever think in the near future of such things as taking it down or replacing it with a new modern facility. So in that mind, I think right here in the center of town we have one of the most prettiest towns and one of the nicest looking town halls now with an operating bell here in central Massachusetts. I'd like to also express thanks to the Cable Access Committee today, who will make this available not only through the cable channel that we have here in town, but for all those in town who don't have cable TV. They can come and get a copy of this from the library in the future and bring it home and do this historic occasion that we're going through this morning. I'd like to give thanks to the Restoration Committee, and at this time, representing the committee, Bill Franchmore will have a couple of words to say about what has been going on for the last year and a half, actually on the Cupola. We'll have you come over here.
On behalf of the Town Hall Cupola Repair Committee, which still is Will Early and Joe Petrin and myself, I want to thank everyone for being here, especially Mr. King. It's an honor to see you, sir. A long time ago, 1989, 1990, when it was realized that the cupola was in disrepair, we did some research on the cupola in the building, and we learned in 1848 the town set aside $4,000 to build this building. Archie J., the town's historian, has learned, and through his research, that this building was finished in 1861 or so it took the town a fair amount of time to build the building. In 1990, the town set aside some funds to repair the building, to repair the cupola and paint the building, and in 1991, the town put aside enough to finish the entire cupola. The cupola cost $65,000 to repair. Not to get into everything that was done, but the belfry was rebuilt, the copper dome was put on, the belfry, the part that holds the bell was reconstructed, the cupola was painted, and it's now operational. It maintains the character of this community. It finishes off the town hall. I think the greatest tribute to this bell and the ringing of the bell is the townspeople, because they voted to give the Board of Selectmen the money to send up the specs and get the cupola repaired. The Selectmen are in the process of determining when the bell's going to ring. I think they're fairly receptive to some ideas of what occasions the bell should ring, whether it should be holidays or on a consistent basis, but that will be decided in the next couple of meetings, I believe. That's about all I have to say, but this is really a special occasion for this community, for this building. The fact that it is very unique, and it just makes the whole town hall and the entire center of the community much different when you hear the bell ringing. It's just wonderful. I love it.
Wow, thank you. We are developing a plan. In the years past, we used to have paid bell ringers here in town. They used to get like, I think it was $10 for a whole year to come and ring the bell. That was back in the 1800s, of course. But we are developing a plan, whether it's just on holidays or for the perhaps the passing away of townspeople and other special occasions. I don't think it's feasible that we have the bell ringing on a daily basis. If you remember years ago, the siren used to be tested like at 5 o'clock every evening, and that's no longer necessary to do anymore either. But that was done by a person who, you know, never was out of town, you might say, and came every night and right at 5 o'clock, and you could set your clocks by him. And unfortunately, unless we get some super volunteer who's willing to come in, say at noontime or something else, to ring it 5 days a week while the town hall is open, we're looking towards a special occasion type ringing of the bell for the near future at least. At this time, I'd like to now come back into the mode of what the other really half. It's not going to be a long presentation today, but what the other half of why we're all here today, and that is for Veterans Day, and to honor Mr. King here as our World War veteran. And at this time, we'll take it by order of how the presentations. I'd like to end up with something from the Legion by Mr. Wetmore towards the end. So I'll ask Representative Stephen Brewer at this time to step forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, congratulations to the people of West Brookfield for having the vision and the sense of history to maintain this building. As a selectman in Barry back in 1981, my town hall was destroyed by fire, and people literally said, bulldoze it down and build a fire station on that site. And we said, no, these historic town halls are so vitally important to New England communities. They really are the axis for all of what activity happens in your community. I think you deserve a great round of applause for what you have done on that. You people stepped up to the plate, and you people recognized how absolutely important this is. Thinking of Mr. King today, 13 years ago, his son, William King Jr., when the hostages were released on January 20th, 1981, Bill King Jr. came up these stairs and rang this bell to proclaim the freedom for the 52 American hostages in Iran. And it's great because of the soldiers, every single person who has ever put a uniform on of the United States Armed Services, that this country is the greatest country on the planet. We cannot obviously be the policemen for the entire world, and we have many problems at home that we have to address. But because of the soldiers, men and women, the women that we honor today down in Washington with the new monument next to the Vietnam Veterans Monument, have played in the angels of the battlefield, if you will, have played a tremendous role as well. And those are the people that make this the land of the free, because it is the home of the brave. At this point in time, I would like to read a citation. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to William R. King Sr. in recognition of his being named as the commemorative bell ringer for the restored cupola at the West Brookfield Town Hall and his 75 years of dedicated service to his nation. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors given this 11th day of November, 1993, at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts. This was signed by Charles Flaherty, Speaker of the Massachusetts House, and offered by an individual who is extremely proud to be here and to know William King, myself.
Thank you, Steve. Now, I believe on behalf of the Legion and for the Legion, Senator Robert Wetmore, at this time, I'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this ceremony. I think it worked out great when the two came together. Couldn't have been better. I don't know if it was really planned, but I don't think it could have been planned better to have the rededication of the bell and the restoration of the town hall come on Veterans Day, which is a special Veterans Day. We honor the veterans every year, November 11th. However, this is really a special Veterans Day. It is the 75th anniversary of the end of World War I. And I think all veterans would agree with me that this is really the day when we all think about World War I vets. So the fact that you have the bell ringing and the World War I recognition day at the same time, I think it couldn't have been planned better. And as the bell was ringing out, I was wondering what it was like 75 years ago. I imagine someone was here pulling the same rope for the same bell as they celebrated the end of the war. I think it's interesting to recall that World War I was the war to end all wars. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way, but the intentions were good, and the people that served certainly deserve any honor and recognition that we can give them today. There has been activity on the national level to recognize World War I veterans. And just briefly, I'd like to mention a medal that is available to World War I veterans. Unfortunately, a lot of the veterans haven't been listed where people could find their names, so they weren't contacted to know that this particular medal was available. I've been working with the King family and some of the veterans in the town of West Brookfield to try and get the papers filled out properly for Mr. King so he can receive one of the medals. I have one with me today which I'd just like to show what it looks like, and Mr. King will be getting one as soon as we submit his papers. This is the World War I 75th anniversary medal, which has the colors, the rainbow colors, which is a replica of what was given to the veterans at the end of World War I 75 years ago. And it says 75th anniversary of World War I, and on the back it says, "They came on the wings of eagles." That is taken from the memorial in France that the French government built for the World War I veterans after the war had ended. So as I said, Mr. King will be receiving one of these in the very near future. I'm getting the information from the family now, and I'll be honored to help and give that for him at that time. I've been asked by the Legion Post in town, Post 244, to present this special plaque also to Mr. King. I wanted to do that on behalf of the American Legion here in West Brookfield. I do belong to the Legion in Barrie, and I wanted to take part in the Legion activities. Congratulations to everybody for restoring your town hall and running this beautiful ceremony today. It gives me great pleasure to present this plaque on behalf of Legion Post 244 to Mr. William F. King, World War I veteran.
At this time, and this is more than overwhelming the anticipated crowd that we have here and all that came. I don't want to slight anybody. I'd like to open it up at this time. If anybody else would like to say anything at this moment, that have you step forward. And if there is anybody, that's fine, but I just want to make that opportunity. We do have Bill Harry, our veterans agent here. We have many people from the American Legion here and the auxiliary here, and that's nice to see such a turnout today. It's kind of overwhelming, the crowd that we have. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you to my board members and for helping out in the most recent years in their support of this project, which was started before these two gentlemen get on the board, but they've been behind it all the way also. We appreciate that. At this time, it pretty much concludes our ceremonies. I think what we'd like to have here, and I don't know how we can really work this with such a big crowd, but we'll give it a try. I think I'll ask Bill maybe to start the bell ringing, stay with it. If anybody would like to come up and at least give that ceremonial pull to the ringing of the bell, we can kind of have a line coming by the bell rope as you go down the stairs. You know? So however long it takes, we'll ring the bell until we all get a chance to go. Mr. King, would you like to go up here and perform the first one? There you go. You help out with the bell. Could we have the
Go and ring the bell.
Thank you, appreciate it very much.
That's what counts. For all those workers. But you're the old veteran. Someday I might be old.
What happened?
Bob, explain again what happened.
Yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I determined that we weren't going to be able to get a medal for Mr. King. So I called the Department of Veterans Affairs in Washington and spoke to the secretary of the cabinet member. She gave me a lady's name, and I said Mission Impossible to this girl named Bonnie. And she says, I can't guarantee it for being here at 11 o'clock. But she says Federal Express will guarantee it being here by 4 o'clock. So I says, we'll take our chances. As I was going down Cottage Street just now, I saw Bob Wetmore and told him, I said, save the paperwork. We got one in the mail. I got home and here it is.
Wow. That's great.
All right?
Thanks to Bob Clarkson.
So that's what's called cutting through. Sure.
Nice. You got all this Bob?
Hold on.
These Bob,
I told you.
he's very excited.
Oh,
It just came from Washington D.C. Just come in from Washington. Federal Express.
wow.
World War I veteran.
Now who gave it?
Well,
Senator Wetmore got it going, and it just was delivered by
Bob
pursued it. They got on it this week. I think it'd be nice if Bob can get on it.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Hey, the whole wind is chilly, isn't it?
Yeah. Give me a hat.
My wife is on to get
Oh, you want the ring right now?
I want to see your pen again. That's beautiful.
So, look like more put it on.
A grateful nation remembers 1918, 1990. Yeah, beautiful. See, that's
Thanks to Bob.
Modern communications are wonderful.
I think so.
I can show you how many nationwide.
But in our area, I think it's
You want the bell again when you're over here?
Well, Bob Clarkson had a
Yeah, we're gonna need the bell. We're gonna need the bell inside. We can get the bell. I'll bring it back. Microphone plugged in.
Okay, you're all set. Yeah, this is the special anniversary for World War I veterans, 75th anniversary medal. This is given to all veterans. It says on the back, they came on the wings of eagles. That is taken from the memorial to France. The French government built a memorial at the end of World War I, and that was the inscription on that memorial. It also says, the grateful nation remember. The honor of like Mr. King served in World War I. This year is the 75th anniversary. So here is your World War I medal. This ribbon, the rainbow ribbon, is a replica of the same ribbon that goes on the veterans next to the war. Remember that you got a ribbon like that 75 years ago. That's Senator Wetmore.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very much.
Nice to hear the bell ring again.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's overwhelmed.
I don't know. I just can't think.
I think he's overwhelmed.
So much going on that I just can't make my mind up on what item I'd like to talk about. Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, well. I'm turning cold.